So my first most anticipated thing of 2025 is the Bong Joon-ho movie Mickey 17. Now, I don't know if they were going to truly get this in 2025 because they've pushed back the release date of this movie 3, 4 times already. Um, Initially, this movie was supposed to come out last year, towards I think in November or December. Then they pushed it back to January. Then they pushed it back. Now it's going to be coming out in April, I believe. There, so they pushed back the release date of this film multiple times. I don't know whether to be quite nervous about that, but I mean, Bong Joon Ho has not missed yet. You people might know him. He did the 2019 film Parasite, which I absolutely love that movie. It's kind of I think one of the best movies of not only of that year when it came out, but of the one of the best movies of the 21st century and one of the best movies of the last 20 years. So I absolutely love that film. Okja, he also did that. He also did Snowpiercer. He did Mother. He did The Host. He did Memories of Murder. He has a great long list and resume there. And yeah, to me, he hasn't missed yet in his production. So be interested to check this out. Robert Pattinson. I mean, Robert Pattinson continues. Doing a lot of weird, interesting roles there from Good Time to, the Batman and how he kinda portrayed that character of, like, kind of almost like kind of this emo incel kinda thing he did with a little bit with Batman. So he continues to do a lot of these weird, different, interesting roles there, Robert Pattinson. I really appreciate him for doing that and for stretching there, and the variety of different stuff he's done. So, yeah, this looks really interesting to me. This looks crazy to me. The premise looks very interesting. So yeah, I cannot wait to watch this. Hopefully they don't push it back again because I really want to watch this. It is coming out as of now, March. So March 7th is the new release date for this movie that they have. So I really hope they don't push it back again. Yeah. So that's on my list there of most anticipated things I have for 2025. I'm gonna go down here, and something else that I'm also most anticipated for here is Paddington. So Paddington has another movie coming out, Paddington in Peru. Paddington in Peru is going to be the third Paddington film. um, Now this movie here now, I really love, the Paddington, movies here. Love the first one, love the second one. Very joyful to watch these movies. And if you have not seen the other 2 Paddington films, I highly recommend you check them out, because they are just really extremely delightful, in every sense of the word, there. So, yeah, I mean, I can't wait to I hope they, close it out really great, with this film. Like I said, really enjoyed the last 2 films, and they were just kind of big surprises for me. As much as people are talking about them, um, and then Rating from Tree said, "How can anyone not love Paddington?" Honestly, yeah, exactly. I mean, you just got no soul if you don't like a Paddington movie. I mean, it's just like these are just so great. I mean, how could you just not like them? And perfect family films there to watch there as well. Good family humor, good family comedy there. This cute little bear. Yeah, I absolutely really love it and really enjoy it. These movies, so I can't wait to see what they do with the third Paddington film, Paddington in Peru. There. All right. So the next thing on my list, and then Rating from Trudy said, I've been accused of having no feelings, but I still love Paddington. Well, that shows you got at least some feeling, some heart there, if you do actually like the Paddington films there, Sage. Um, and then my third one, third most anticipated thing of 2025 is going to be for Superman Legacy. Superman Legacy is probably the only comic book thing I have on this list movie wise. James Gunn is directing this. I think no, I discussed it a little bit with Sage from Radio from Trudy, but I did post up a reaction and review, a reaction to the trailer there for this with Dusk and a special guest I had on. And yeah, this looks good. This looks good. James Gunn, he's taking over the DC now, and Superman. I think is going to be the big testing point for a lot of people of can how well is this universe is going to be, how well he's going to be the person. Is he the right person to basically be the one they handed over the keys to for this DC universe? Um, and yeah, and James Gunn, said that a lot of the DC projects are going to have a different tone, different style, and Superman Legacy is not going to feel like something is like darkly funny as like the Suicide Squad, right? It's going to have a different, more hopeful type of tone to it. And also including these other heroes in this. It's Sage from Radiant Maturity. He gives a lot of really great theories and really great ideas on things, and I love his theory of this movie. Basically, you're gonna have it with Superman. You're gonna have a lot of these kind of corporate heroes, and you see like Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. You see Hawk Girl in this. You basically see kind of a form of the Justice League kind of already, and they're kind of more like the corporate heroes. So maybe Lex Luthor, who in this is played by Nicholas Holt, is he's basically kind of paying them and kind of a little bit like the boys type situation there with that. But you come in and you have more of a kind of hometown hero and Superman, who's gonna be the person that really inspires people and really gives people hope there of having a character like this, who, has this homemade costume and everything like that. So I think you're really gonna see a lot of that in Superman Legacy. So I don't think it's gonna be a thing where the other heroes are taking over his film. I think it's gonna be a thing where you get to see Superman in all his glory there and kind of more harkening back. Um, and then, as Radiant from True said, hopefully the first good Superman film we had since 1982. Yeah, harkening back to more of the Christopher Reeves type of thing, the more hopeful type of thing we had with Superman. And I think that's what we're kind of going to get in that with Superman Legacy. So absolutely can't wait to go see that. Probably on my list, like I said, number one thing as far as superhero properties go in 2025. All right. My next on my list here, and I got this list breaking down into movies, games, shows. So that's how it's kind of broken down here. So for me, Radiant from, I'm sorry, Hunter from the Real Pineapple said, hype for Captain America: Brave New World. Okay, so is that your number one thing as far as superhero properties go that you're most excited about? Is Captain America: Brave New World there? Which tickets went on sale for that today. Um, if people want to kinda check it out, yeah, so I did buy my tickets already for Captain America: Brave New World, which is coming out in February 13th, which is yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. Um, I hope it's good. I mean, it's had a lot of reshoots on it. They actually released a final trailer for it today, I think. They released a final trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. I hope it's good. I think the movie's got a lot going against it. Anthony Mackie, I like him as an actor. I hope he can have a hit with Captain America: Brave New World. And Hunter also said from the Real Pineapple, he said Paddington is one of the best series in the last 20 years. Yeah, I agree. I love it. I love Paddington. I love those movies there. Um, all right. So on my list there, next for most anticipated things of 2025, I have number four. I got the Monkey. So the monkey there is the new film from Oswald Perkins. Oswald Perkins, who bursted on a lot of people, he gained a lot of recognition from his film last year with Long Legs. This is his new horror movie that's coming out this year. I really like Long Legs. Long Legs is on my list of favorite movies of 2024. I hope he can recreate that same success here in 2025 with the monkey. Finally checked out and saw a trailer for this film. I actually saw this trailer first in the theaters, actually, is when I saw this trailer. But, yeah, so it's kind of this seems like this weird concept of you got this monkey and you got this cursed kinda monkey that causes all these accidents. Um, it's basically Final Destination with the monkey. Like, it has all these like, it's able to cause people deaths in the most craziest type of ways possible. So let's see if it actually, it seems like a fun premise. Let's see how it is in the movie there. Let's see how it kinda happens, and what they do there, but yeah, could be really crazy, really fun, but like I said, I like long legs, so I'm gonna be trusting Oswald Perkins that he can succeed and capitalize on that success and come out with another great movie in 2025 with the monkey there. And this film is coming out, I believe. Let's see here. Let me see when this film is coming out, so I can let you people know just in case here. So it's coming out February. So it's coming out February 21st. So not that long until we have some time. there as well for this movie. So yeah, we're gonna be seeing it. I'm gonna be seeing it pretty soon there. Yeah. And rated M for immaturity said here, Companion from the director of Barbarian is another horror film that's going on my list. Yes, Companion also is really interesting. I thought about putting that on my list as well. Companion, that's the movie with Jack Quaid in it as well. And I did love Barbarian. I did love that film quite a bit. So I hope that's good there. I hope it's better than something like, Subservience as far as, like, AI robots, there. I just saw that movie Subservience with Megan Fox. Man, that movie was terrible. It was on my worst of list, there. Hunter, you should check that out. Hunter, you should go ahead and review that, Subservience there. All right, next on my list is another horror movie that's coming up this year, and it's the film Sinners. This is the film from Ryan Coogler. This is gonna be the new film from him. Much like Bong Joon-ho, Ryan Coogler for me has not missed. I don't think he's had a bad film yet. He's working with his frequent collaborator there that's been in all his movies, Michael B. Jordan. And yeah, I mean, it's black people and vampires. I mean, Ryan Coogler made a black vampire film, before Marvel did, with Blade. They still working on Blade. They still haven't done that yet. So, hey, he's gonna do a vampire hunter, a black vampire hunter before Marvel does it. So, this looks really interesting. This looks really good. You got Michael B. Jordan, who's gonna be playing, dual roles here, and somebody pointed out, there's gonna be multiple films with an actor playing dual roles. Like, you have Robert Pattinson, who's gonna be playing double. You got Michael B. Jordan in this. And then I forget the other film that somebody said that an actor is gonna be double as well. But, yeah, that seems to be, I guess, the theme of 2025. But this vampire type of film here, it looks really good. Like I said, Ryan Coogler for me has not missed yet. And I can't wait to see what he does with this, with this kind of performance and with this film here, and what Michael B. Jordan does with his performance in this, and how they kind of plan it all out. But, yeah, yeah, awesome. I can't wait for this. And this is gonna be coming out in April. So close to my birthday. So close to my birthday there, that this is gonna be coming out. And the cast, I mean, you got Haley Steinfeld there as well. You got, you saw Delroy Lindo there for a little bit so that as well. You got Jack O'Connell in this. Yeah, fantastic cast, of people in this, film. So oh, your birthday's in April too. Oh, okay. Very nice. Yeah, Hunter said, "This looks fantastic. Ryan, Coogler hasn't missed. The man is brilliant." I agree. He is brilliant there. I also love to see Ryan Coogler potentially do some TV stuff. I think he'd be great at doing some television stuff there, as well. For movies, that's all I have for my most anticipated movies of 2025. I'm gonna be moving on to some video games. Video games I'm super excited about in 2025 that's gonna be coming up. So I'm gonna get into that. The X-Files from Coogler apparently is still happening. Actually, I haven't heard that, if he's doing an X-Files thing, but that'd be interesting. Let me Google that real quick before I move on here. But I wonder if Sage, do you know anything about that? Do you know if, Ryan Coogler is doing a, X-Files reboot or anything like that? That'd be interesting there. I see a Screen Rant article about it. I see that in a Variety article. Hmm. Okay. All right. So it says, yeah. So Ryan Coogler, yeah, potentially doing an X Files reboot here. Let me share my screen here. It says Ryan Coogler to develop X Files reboot. Chris Carter says, okay, interesting. All right. I'd be down for that. I'd be seeing that. Seems like more something you would hear about maybe from Jordan Peele, maybe more than Ryan Coogler, um, yeah, I'd be down for that. Rain for Truth, I actually hadn't even heard about another X Files revival. I'd only be skeptical because X Files has been renewed like 5 times already. Yeah, and how many movies does X Files have? They have like what 2 movies or 3 movies that came out for X Files. Um, all right. So for next on my list, I'm going to be getting into video games. And number six, for me, for most anticipated media of 2025, is going to be for the video game Doom: The Dark Ages. I mean, best way to describe this is it looks metal as fuck. I mean, that's basically the best kind of term for this. I mean, Very, very badass that this game looks. I mean, you look at the weapons that are gonna be used here. Um, I mean, if you played Doom Eternal and then also the first Doom game, which I also have played, I mean, it is just action to the wall here. Absolutely insanity that you have of killing all these different various creatures. And I think, as this trailer shows, you're going to get into more action like that in this game. Reading from Trudy said, is software has been on a roll. ID software has been on a roll with these. I can't wait. Yeah, I mean, look at the weaponry that you use in this game. I mean, absolutely insane. And then you get this chainsaw shield. I mean, damn, this looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I cannot wait to get into this. This looks like a lot of fun and looks like it's going to be even better than what we've gotten from the other Doom games, which is hard to even kind of imagine. But yeah, absolutely fantastic, here with this game. It is coming out in 2025. There's no exact release date for this as of yet, but yeah, and look at this. I mean, I can't wait for that. I mean, a mech battle in this, that's gonna be fucking great too. So there's no exact release date as of yet for this, but it just says 2025. We don't know what month yet or day, but yeah, definitely I'll be checking this out and buying this day one when it comes out. Um, all right. So next on my list, and this is on my list because this is something that Radiant Immaturity Sage, he basically dragged me into this world, and that's why I'm really excited about this next game I'm about to talk about, and that is going to be FBC Firebreak. This is the new game Remedy has coming out there. And this is a multiplayer game, something different from what we've seen from Remedy normally in the past. They mostly do single player stories. But with FBC Firebreak here is going to be about the Federal Bureau of Control. There, you're basically playing kind of the SWAT team of the bureau and cleaning up all the kind of hiss infections that are in the bureau. Yeah, and, I'm gonna be getting this, Sage is gonna be getting this, hopefully we can stream it together there. Yeah, and I can't wait to see how more the story expands in this game because like with Remedy does, all their games are connected for this one big universe. Um yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why I'm really interested to kind of check this out and to get this to see the further narrative kind of continue in these Remedy games. Rainy from Maturity said first multiplayer game from Remedy and first time they've done a game in first person view as well. Rainy from Maturity also said I'll be curious about the narrative because it's a prequel set in between the original Doom one and Doom two, and the two newer games. Okay, for Doom Dark Ages. Interesting. Um, but yeah, and this also has just a release date of 2025. No exact release date yet for it, but it is 2025 as far as we know. So we don't know what month and day, but yeah, that's what we got coming up for that. But yeah, I can't wait to deep dive more into the Remedy universe and explore more there. And I don't think it's going to be your typical multiplayer shooter. Nothing's ever a typical experience with Remedy is what I know now playing Alan Wake, playing Control. So yeah, I cannot wait for that. And he said this will tide us over into Control 2 in 2027. Very true that. I'm going to be moving on into my number eighth pick for my most anticipated media of 2025 here. And let me pull up a trailer for that. And let me take a swig of water here. Mm. Man. Now with this game here, really loving the look of it, really loving the style of it, really loving the story of this game, the southern kind of influence that it has, New Orleans kind of influence, and that is south of midnight. This game. Now, I've been hearing early reports that a lot of the combat in the game is maybe not that exciting. It's your kind of typical, maybe third person action kind of combat there. But the really the story and the kind of look of it has me very intrigued about it there. And I do want to kind of check this out just for that reason. Um and I saw some gameplay footage of it, some of the different creatures you battle in it. That also looks very good. The different kind of weaponry you use in this game looks very interesting as well. Also, just this being an original game, we're kind of now sometimes with video games getting so inundated with a lot of remakes and sequels there. That's also a big problem now in video games. People have talked about that. And for this to kind of be an original story, there's also very interesting there. And this game is from Compulsion Games there. This also has release date of 2025. No exact one release date yet for this, but that's what we get so far. Rated Trudy says this game will be at the Xbox Showcase on the 27th this month. Hopefully, a release date. Do you mean for South of Midnight or do you mean for FBC Firebreak? Sage, there is that what you mean there for that? But yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully, it turns out pretty good there. Hopefully, I'm imagining it's a little bit above just the 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 game. I'm looking for more 8, 9, uh, 8, 9 out of 10. So for South of Midnight, guarantee more info on the 27th. Okay, all right. Yeah. And hopefully, maybe can polish up some more thing. If the combat is as basic as they're saying, maybe they can polish that up a little bit more in the meantime before we get an exact release date there for this. But yeah, I can't wait to see more footage of South of Midnight for that. All right. My next pick is a game that I know also Sage from Radiant from Trudy. He's probably pretty really excited about. It's probably one of at the top of his list of most things he's excited about in 2025. And that is going to be for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater there. This is the actually just talking about South of Midnight, talking about a lot of remakes and reboots and sequels in video games. This is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. And this is almost like a basically a shot for shot remake. I mean, because they're using the same footage, they're using the same dialogue. Well, not same footage, but same dialogue as the Metal Gear Solid 3 game. Um, I'm not super huge into Metal Gear Solid there, but I am a fan of some of the games. I mean, Sage is a much bigger fan than me. He even has a tattoo of Metal Gear Solid on him, so he's a very big fan of it. He even came on to do a retro review for Metal Gear Solid 3 way back. That's on the channel right now. If people wanted to go check it out. So yeah, this is a remake of that classic game. I mean, the game is considered one of the best games of all time. There, and Ready from Trudy mentions my tattoo is from this game specifically too. So yeah, this game looks gorgeous. It looks absolutely really gorgeous there. They did make some added adjustments to the first from the original game there, as we know from it. And this game, like many games on my list here, doesn't have an exact release date either. It's just kind of like, okay, it's gonna come out in 2023. We don't know exactly what. I mean, I'm sorry, 2023. I meant 2025. I'm sorry. No exact release date for for it, but it is gonna be coming out supposedly this year, supposedly. But yeah, I mean, you're remaking one of the greatest games of all time. We've seen that done before, like with Resident Evil 4 as an example when they do that, and a lot of people love the remake to that game. So can it also be a great success with this remake as well with something like this? We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for this. And I'm hyped for this. I mean, I think this is going to be really fantastic. And what they do with this. Rhythm Maturity says it's mostly a visual upgrade and a control scheme upgrade. Pretty much everything else it will be kept intact, even down to where you can find secrets in the level. So, yeah, I guess if you want to get more into Metal Gear, we've talked about this. If you want to get more into it, and there is the bundle that you can get with Metal Gear Solid 3 that they offer. But if you kinda also wanted like, I want more of a fresher update on this, like, with more modern control scheme, even though it'll let you choose between the older control scheme and the modern control scheme, it'll let you choose, it doesn't lock you into one specific thing. Um, I think that yeah, so it allows that kind of choice there for people. So, yeah, I think that's great. So yeah, but 2025, hopefully these games actually do come out in 2025. Hopefully that actually does happen. A big game, probably the biggest game. Rating Maturity said, even though this is the third game, it's chronologically the first, so it's a great place to start if you've never played the series. So that's a great point. If you've never played the series, it's probably a great start for you. And maybe it'll lead to other Metal Gear remakes there. Possibly that's how it goes. That's what happened with Resident Evil. They're basically remaking the whole series over again with Resident Evil. So I know, like I said, maybe are a person who's tired of remakes and all that stuff, which is understandable. You wanna see some fresh content, you wanna see newer characters, newer stories. They just don't wanna keep saying the same thing over and over again. I know that maybe you might be tired of that, but hey, maybe wait till after this comes out, then get tired of it, I guess. Alright, so something that a lot of people are hoping that comes out in 2025, something that they're hoping will be maybe as good and the hype will live up to the hype, is gonna be GTA 6. Yeah, this game is gonna do huge. If it is good, it's slightly good, people have been waiting for this for so long. They might buy it and play it, and even if it's not as good as they hoped, they'll convince themselves it's as good as they hoped it for. I mean, that's how long and how much people are salivating for this new Grand Theft Auto game. Um, yeah, I mean, we just saw this little bit trailer for it. I mean, this was huge. The announcement for it was big. Over about close to a decade since we had the last Grand Theft Auto game when that kind of came out for that. So yeah, I imagine this game is gonna do huge numbers. It's just going to do because people have just been waiting for this for so long. Yeah, the last Grand Theft Auto game came out 12 years ago now. Yeah, 12 years ago, more than a decade, as Sage was saying. Um, and this is another game that also if this is also some in-game footage with this, I mean, how kind of realistic it looks. I mean, it looks so incredibly realistic and everything like that. And, the story we're getting for this is maybe a Bonnie and Clyde type of situation with this. We see with maybe we're gonna have 2 lead characters that we're bouncing back and forth between. That looks really awesome. So, yeah, so far, that's what we've just gotten from this game so far, with Grand Theft Auto 6. Just has it says, "Hey, coming in 2025." But yeah. This is probably on a lot of people's list for not only most anticipated games of 2025, but just most anticipated things of 2025. For people to dive into this, to this experience, go back to Grand Theft Auto, and then also going to the place of Miami, kind of like a Miami-esque place, is also really interesting. Rating from Maturity said multiple characters was a great feature in five, so I'm glad they are keeping with that idea. I agree. All right. So for TV shows, get into that. Some of my most anticipated TV shows of 2025. I'm going to be pulling up my list for that one. So I got five for that one as well. Um, so on my list there of most anticipated TV shows. So number 11 for me is gonna be for The Last of Us, season 2. Um, Rating for maturity, I know he wasn't a fan of the first season there. I mean, he loves the game, and he just kinda thought like, "Well, what's the purpose of watching the show if I played the game? What's kind of the purpose of that?" I already know where the story is, and I think that, the Last of Us game is such a already kind of a cinematic experience, there's really no point in watching the show. But for a lot of people, I think for people who even played the game and loved the game, when they saw the first season of the show, they were like, "Hey, this is still like really awesome. Like this is still really amazing, and it still like really surprised me." What they did, and how much it was able to still emotionally kind of grip me, even though knowing that, even though I knew what was going to happen in it. So you had that kinda going on in it. So yeah, I mean, someone who I've played the first game as well, I was still a big fan of it. I was still a big fan of it even though I knew it was gonna go, and the performances as well, was also something really amazing, from, I think, like, Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey. I know a lot of people talk about Bella Ramsey doesn't look a lot like Ellie there. With this season 2, now, because in the game, there's a time skip between the first game and the second game where Ellie's aged up a bit. Bella Ramsey, even though she's in her well, actually, I should say they. I think Bella Ramsey goes by they. Even though Bella Ramsey is in their 20s, uh, she's still kinda they still kinda look like a little girl. They still they still kinda look like they're like Ellie from the last game, like, more like prepubescent, more like a kind of a teenager a bit. So it kinda doesn't look like she's aged up all that much in between the 2 things. But yeah, so this season is supposed to basically detail the second game. And I think they're not supposed to stop at the second season, from my understanding. I think they're supposed to have maybe an additional season after this one to because they want to really more flesh out the story a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I know the second game was had a lot of controversy in it, a lot of controversy about the premise of that game and what happened in that game, and people kind of going over that. So I wonder if that will carry over into this second season as well. The show adapting the second game. I wonder if they're going to make any changes to the second game with the second season of the show. Rating for Maturity said, I think it's a great for expanding the audience of the story, even if it's not appealing to me directly. I'd say in the game, Ellie was massively stretched, aged, and looks 30 even. Yeah, because I think in the second game, Ellie's supposed to be in more her early 20s, like early 20s there in the second game. She's supposed to be, looking much, much younger. I mean, a little bit older there, but you're right. I mean, due to this world and the stress and kinda what happens in it, yeah, she does look a lot older than what she's supposed to be. Um, so yeah, I wonder, how that will kinda all play out. And I wonder if they are going to, change anything from that game there, um, because of that, because of all the controversy that happened, around the sequel, as I said. But yeah, the sequel, the second season is gonna be coming out. I think the second season is supposed to premiere. Let me see real quick when the second season is supposed to premiere of Last of Us season 2. Real quick, let me check it out. April 2025. Okay, a lot of stuff's coming out. A lot of stuff's happening in April. A lot of stuff's happening in April. Looks like so. April 2025 is when it's going to be coming out here. But yeah, and like Rating for Maturity said, I mean, it's great for people even if you hadn't played the game. Like Nick, he's my co-host. He's been on the show before, and he talked about his dad. His dad doesn't play video games at all, and he got into the show and just loved the show. And he's not a fan of the video games at all. So I think for people who don't play the video game or don't care about the video game, it also is something for them to enjoy that the story for people that will never play the video game because they just don't play video games. Rating for Truth said most controversy was internet losers saying women bad. Yeah, there was a lot going on with the Abby character, who in season 2 she's going to be portrayed by the actress. What's the actress's name? Who's going to be playing Abby in this? Let me see if I can pull up her name real quick. Um, really quick there. But I like that actress, and people say that maybe she should have been Ellie. Like maybe she should have been cast as Ellie there instead of Bella Ramsey. Um, maybe she, and then also people were saying the woman from Alien Romulus also was another choice. Caitlin Dever is her name there, who's going to be Abby in this, and I think she is bulking up for the role, for the performance there. I think she is putting on some muscle for this role to play Abby. So she is kinda doing that in this, but this is Caitlin Dever there. She's really good. Caitlin Dever is really good in the movie. If people have never seen it, No One Will Save You. It's a silent film. If, people have never seen it, it's a silent film if nobody's ever seen it. Highly recommend checking that out, if nobody's ever seen it before. But Caitlin Dever there is really good in that. Range Futurity said, I did see one big potential pro of the show in the game. You play all of Ellie, then switch halfway through and play all of Abby. Being able to jump back and forth between two plot lines would actually be an improvement. Okay. Yeah. So maybe you got that kind of going on as well with it. Um, yeah. So a lot of people saying maybe Caitlin Dever should have been Ellie there. Also, like I said, I mentioned the woman from Alien Romulus. Her name is Kaylee Spaney, who was in that. Let me pull up a picture of Kaylee Spaney just so you have a reference for that as well. She was also in Priscilla as well, Kaylee Spaney. So this is her as well. So this is her. Yeah. So I got her as well. This is kind of her there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how good Last of Us season 2 will be. All right. Got my number 12 on the list for most things I'm most excited about TV wise for 2025. And that is going to be for this is a show I recently just binged and recently just reviewed on the channel. And that is Severance season 2. Yeah, this was a show I heard a lot about. This is an Apple Plus TV show. Um, and when I just it was a show I couldn't put down. I just watched the next episode and the next episode and the next episode. I binged it in basically a day and a half. And this was, yeah, really amazing to watch, really, really good to watch. This kind of mystery, this sci-fi show. Um, yeah, about people who work in this office, and, I don't wanna spoil the events of what happens at season 1, but I can't wait to see what the fallout is gonna be and how they're gonna what all is gonna be, the repercussions of what happened in season 1. But, this show being so kind of darkly funny, this weird kind of concept. If you ever seen something like a Boots Riley show, or a Boots Riley movie like Sorry to Bother You, but combine it with Office Space, the Mike Judge movie, it's kinda something like that. It's kinda something in line with that, that you kinda got here, and yeah, I really enjoy this and really love this, and I see why so many people were talking about this show as much as they were. Yeah, absolutely fantastic show, and I can't wait to see season 2, and I'm gonna binge season 2, there. I think, the first episode of season 2 actually premieres today, if I'm not mistaken. It premieres today, but, yeah. Range, you say, "Oh, I love Bruce Riley." You saw me, on this by describing in that way, yeah. It's not as because Bruce Riley gets very, very absurdist, in his commentary with something like "Sorry to Bother You," or his other projects there, but it's not quite as absurdist to that, but it to that degree, but it's still pretty out there in some of the things that it does in this concept. So, yeah, if nobody's checked it out, if you got Apple Plus, I'll let you share my Apple Plus, hell, to watch this show. I think it's that good. I'll let you share mine to watch it because yeah, I think a lot of people should be watching this show. I don't. I think I think they've already announced season 3 as well for this, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, yeah, it comes from the Ben Stiller who directs a lot of these episodes as well, and Dan Erskine who is the creator of it. So yeah, love, love, love this show. Really love it a lot. All right, so on my list of another show that I'm excited about in 2025 is a series called White Lotus. White Lotus is having its season 3 coming out this year. And this is an anthology series here. And each season you have a different cast of characters, different location. It's about this White Lotus hotel and about these characters who go to this hotel, but it's always in a different location and different place there. So, yeah, this is a really great series there. I'm interested to check out what they do in the 3rd series, and they always get a really great cast of actors there, and, much like kind of like, something like Severance, it's kind of like a sci-fi type mystery aspect that it has to it that's very intriguing there and very interesting, so, yeah, White Lotus season 3, and also I think this will be the acting debut of the K-pop singer Lisa. I think it will. I think this is her acting debut, which also I'm really excited to see. I like Blackpink, so, um, yeah, I can't wait to see what they do. And this series, this season is set in Thailand is where they are. They're set there. So yeah, awesome. White Lotus season 3. All right. So another thing I'm also really excited about, number 14 on my list is Andor. Andor season 2. So this is coming up in 2025. We don't have like a real official trailer yet for Andor season 2. It kind of came a part of this sizzle reel for Disney. They did it. I loved Andor season 1. Absolutely loved Andor season 1. That is one of my favorite things that Disney has done since they bought the Star Wars brand. I really enjoyed it, really loved it a lot. Yeah, Tony Gilroy, I think, knows what he's doing when it comes to Star Wars. And he's the creative mind behind Andor there. And yeah, I think it should be him and maybe Dave Filoni as like two of the people running the Star Wars brand. I think Dave Filoni for the nostalgia of Star Wars, and then Tony Gilroy for pushing Star Wars into new direction. I think they would work really well together there. But this show, yeah, I mean, this is just great TV. I don't think this is even just great to watch, even if you like Star Wars. I think this is great. You don't even have to love Star Wars, I think, to enjoy Andor, which I think is for me the big appeal to it. And it's not just stuck on doing member berries. It's not just stuck on doing, "Hey, do you remember Star Wars for this?" Or, "Do you remember Star Wars because of this moment or that moment?" And it really focuses on, the oppressiveness of the empire and the everyday effects that it has on people and the starts of the rebellion. I really like that. I really enjoy that. Reading from Trees, I really enjoyed the show. I only watched it because you told me how good it was because I've been out of Star Wars otherwise. Yeah, I mean, besides all the stuff, obviously the Empire and the Stormtroopers and all that stuff like that, you really don't have to really care about Star Wars, I think, to get into the show or like the show. Just the aspect of this character of, Diego Luna and him trying to build this kind of force here and being a part of, this rebellion and fighting back, I think is treated like it's treated like a real kind of conflict, a real war there. And also the political kind of intrigue stuff in here really works and is not boring as hell. I think that also is another thing to love about it. Also, the look of the show, gorgeous. I think the show looks really good, and this is money well spent here. It's not something like Obi-Wan where they spent all that kind of money on there and that show looks like kind of crap. Here you can tell with Andor, they use the money wisely in a lot of sequences here there. And Raymond Trudy also said it's generally got better writing than all. I agree with that. It's got better writing than all of the 11 films as well. And I do agree with that. Yeah, I love this. I hope Andor season two it's just as good as season 1. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Um, yeah. I mean, like I said, this is my favorite thing Disney has done with the Star Wars brand since they've gotten it. I love it that much. And it kind of makes up for all the some of a lot of the bad stuff they've done with the brand. For me, that's how much I love it. Um, all right, my final thing that I'm most excited about for 2025 TV show wise is for a show that just dropped this trailer just a few days ago. And Rated Futurity said Andor season 2 will be its last season too. Okay. Yeah. So at least they have a plan. They're coming in with that. Like I said, like I spoke about it with DC and Marvel, where it feels like with Penguin, they feel like they're coming into it with a plan, with a story to tell. They're not just doing it because let's just do a story about Penguin because hey, he's a popular character from the Batman movie, and let's just do him. Like, no, it's actually a plan to tell a really good story first, and then we're gonna execute it. Not just execute it because we gotta fulfill some type of service to the streaming platform there. Uh, mm, so you got that. So, um, like I said, my last on my list there for most anticipated thing of 2025 is a show that dropped its trailer just a few days ago, and that is going to be for Daredevil, Born Again. So they finally dropped the trailer for this. There had been little footage here and there at like expos and sizzle reels they've put out there, but here now we've seen a full trailer of this. I'm going to do a breakdown of this trailer, actually with Sage from Radiant from Fury. I'm actually going to do it with him Monday if he'll indulge me there of talking about this. He's the comic book guy. He's really good at going over this stuff. So, and he's probably read a lot of the comic books that this season is going to be referencing. I know the title of the show is from a Frank Miller comic, Daredevil Born Again, but it looks like they're not actually adapting that story. Here it looks like they're going in a different direction. And Sage from Radio from Trudy was also telling me that Kevin Feige, he actually sat down, watched the early episodes of this, and said that this shit is garbage. We got to redo all of this, and they reshot all of this and basically changed the whole kind of story they had. And they were already pretty much halfway done when he did that. And hopefully it's for the better. Because in the first version they had it where Foggy and Karen were dead and everything like that. So you see here you have Foggy and Karen back, so that's already really good. You also have Punisher John Bernthal who's back in this. Here from this trailer, looks like okay, it's going to keep its gritty, violent tone from the Netflix thing. It actually looks like even more violent than what the Netflix show did. Actually, it even looks kind of more violent than what we saw there. But you see like bones coming out of skin. Yeah, it looks really, really fun. Like, look at that. Like, damn. I mean, look at that. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, just boom. Yeah, that looks really painful there. Um, and people have been, happy to see Charlie Cox back again as Daredevil. I mean, he seems to really love playing the character. We saw, he's popped up in other shows, She-Hulk, Echo, but hey, he's back. The Devils of Hell Kitchen is back, and March 4th, not that long till we get him. So on Disney Plus. So it looks like, yeah, they're not shying away from the violence of this, which is something people was scared about, when they announced this series. Rating from Immaturity said, "Born Again in the comic was already adapted in season 3 too. It's more than just a spiritual name callback. This is more of an adaptation of Chip Zdarsky's run, which is also great. Gandolfini is the main villain here, a full-on serial killer called Muse. Okay, so that's who he's playing. Oh, Michael Gandolfini, who's the son of James Gandolfini. You saw a little bit of him in the trailer there. Michael Gandolfini. Um, who popped up in, he showed up in actually The Sopranos, actually. He showed up in that, The Sopranos film, where he actually played the younger Tony Soprano. He showed up in that. Okay, so that's very cool there. Alright, so, yeah, but I'm gonna do a real full breakdown of the trailer with Radiant Maturity Monday there, get on to all the details there with that. So, yeah, that is my list for most anticipated thing, of all the things for 2025 there, all the most my most anticipated media there.